J.O.A.T.D. Today I'm going to show you how to adjust your valves on your GCV190 Honda motor. There are two valves under this valve cover. One is an exhaust valve and the other is the intake valve. Okay, the first thing you want to do is take off the cover. The easiest way to do that is to heat the cover up, take the bolts out, and it'll come loose easy. Let's start with that. Let's take this boot off here. Go ahead and take off the 10mm bolts. It's 4 of them. Be careful, this is hot. I'm gonna heat it up a little bit more. All right, let's pull it off. All right, so the first thing you're gonna do is remove this flywheel cage here. At the top of the flywheel, there is a nut. It is a 19mm nut. And what you're gonna do is you need the cam to be set at top dead center. To do that, you're gonna put the 19mm on top of the flywheel, and you're gonna turn this until this cam here is at top dead center. The way you know it's at top dead center is if you look right underneath here. See if I can get a flashlight. You see those 2 lines? It's a line here and it's a line on the other side. See those 2 lines? Those 2 lines have to be level with this edge right here, okay? You can see the line right there, and it's one on the other side too. Just like how it is right there, that's top dead center, but I'm gonna show you by turning it. So basically, I'm just turning the motor. You can hear me turning it. You can see me turning it also. And before you do this, please make sure the boot is off, because if you turn this too fast, it'll crank or start the motor, okay? So basically what I'm doing is turning it until I get it at top dead center. That right there is top dead center. Now, what you're gonna do is go ahead and remove the spark plug. On mine, the size of the spark plug is 13/16. So we're gonna take that loose. I would do here is I will take a look inside where the spark plug goes to see how close the piston is to the top. It's right at the top right there. See it right there? That is right all the way at the top. If you take a flathead and just stick it in there, see that? It's right there. That's where you want it. What we're gonna do is start adjusting the valves. All right, so we can check the valves and see if they're loose. You hear that? Oh yeah, you see that? That's super loose. That does not supposed to do that. If I can get a little closer, let you see this. Go all the way up on this. Look at this. That is ridiculous. And this one is loose too. So we're gonna set these rocker arms with thickness gauges. All right, guys, so we're gonna start adjusting these valves. This valve on this side is the exhaust valve right here, where the exhaust is, and the one on your right here is your intake valve. The intake is over here on this side. It's plastic. All right, right by the carburetor. Okay, now I have the gap clearance for both valves right there. It says valve clearance. Okay, now the intake, which is the one that says IN in millimeters, it's 0.15 plus or minus 0.04 millimeters. Okay, and at the top is the inches. Now for the exhaust, which is EX, the gap clearance is 0.20 plus or minus 0.04 millimeters, and right above it is the inches. Okay, so you're gonna need a thickness gauge like this. You see how I have it, 0.15 and 0.20. You're gonna need one of these. It's a kit. I'll put a link for it in the descriptions, and I'll also put a link in the descriptions for the paper that I have that has the actual gap clearances on it. Now, what you want to do is, you see that little gap right here? It's a little gap right there. Let's see if I can make it focus. It's a little gap in here, right there. You want to stick this feeler gauge between that gap right there. See that? Right there. And what you want to do is tighten this down so that when you pull this out, it has like a slight drag on it. See, right now it's not even touching. I mean, like if I could still lift it up, it's not even touching it. Okay, we're gonna do the exhaust side first, which is this. Okay, just stick it up in there, but you can see it's like nothing. All right, you're gonna get a 9mm wrench, grab it right here, and break the nut free. Okay, so let's break the nut free. All right, so now the nut's free. They actually have a tool that fits right over this square head here, so you can turn it in and out. But what I'm just gonna use a pair of needle nose. And what you're gonna do is turn this bad boy to the right. Okay, keep turning it to the right till you can get it to touch the okay, so right now it won't turn. I'm barely touching this. It won't turn. Okay, so now it's actually touching the valve here. Now what we're going to do is take the filler gauge. We're going to turn this back slightly and see if we can get this filler gauge through here. See, right now it won't go. Turn it back some more. Still won't go. Some more. Almost. A little bit more. Just keep turning until you want this to be able to. See that? See, that's good enough right there. We're going to tighten it just a little. You want a slight drag. Like when you're pulling this out, you want it to grab it just a little bit. And it's actually grabbing it, okay? That's what you want. That's how big of a gap it should be. See that? That's what you want. I'm tighten it just a little bit more. Let's see. You don't want it to grab it too much. That's good right there. Okay. Now what you're going to do is hold this in that spot and then tighten it down. So I'm going to grab it and hold it right here. That's where I want it. And then I'm going to tighten it. So you tighten it to the right. Just like this. And there you go. So that one is set. To 20 millimeters, all right? Now we're going to the intake side. Let's see. The intake side needs to be set to 15.15 millimeters. Okay, like I said, 0.15 millimeters, all right? So what we got to do, we can test it first to see if it will go. Yeah. See, that's like super loose. So we're going to break this free. Just like that. Okay. And we're going to tighten this down. I like to tighten it down until it kind of just stops. See right there, it stopped. So that means it's sitting directly on the valve. And then I'm gonna take this, and as I'm trying to push this in, I'm gonna turn this back slowly. Just keep turning it back. Let's try from up here. You want it right there. All right, now I'm going to hold this and I'm going to tighten this down. Just like that. Right there. Now let's test it again just to make sure. That's good. And we're also going to do the other side one more time just to check it. Should be 20 millimeters, 0.20 millimeters. Check it again. It's okay to keep checking them back and forth just to make sure. I might tighten out again just a little bit. Yeah, that's good right there. Tighten it. All right, so 0.20 millimeters for exhaust side, which is good. That's good. And for the intake side, 0.15 millimeters. It's kind of tight. Let's do it one more time. Like I said, it's good to make sure that it is pretty decent. It don't have to be perfect, but it needs to be pretty decent. See, turn it. Yeah, right there. You want it to drag across, like you want to feel a little like it's kind of trying to hold it a little bit. There you go. All right, guys. So that is how you set the gap clearance for the exhaust side and the intake side of the valves for your Honda GCV190 motor. Okay, now the next thing you want to do is you want to clean all of this gasket maker off. Clean that all off, but when you're cleaning it, you don't want to get any of that dirt in the inside of here. Like, you don't want anything in there. So what you're going to do is take your rag, put your rag in here like that, wrap it in there real good, and then clean this off. You take a razor blade and just scrape it, clean it off. And you want to make sure you clean this off too, because if you don't, it's going to leak. So you want to clean all that off too. And you see how I kind of bent it a little bit? Bend that back up when you put everything back together and bolt it back down. All right, guys, so we have the new gasket sealer back under the valve cover, and we torqued the 4 nuts down to 12 Newton meters or 9 foot-pounds. All right, after that, that's it.